June 2026. After months of tension, war, sanctions, and diplomatic drama, the world witnessed something few expected: a major agreement between Iran and the United States. But behind the headlines, a bigger question emerged. Did China quietly push Iran toward the deal? Was Beijing the hidden force that convinced Tehran to compromise? Or was China simply protecting its own interests? Let's uncover the hidden story. Chapter 1. A region on the edge. For months, the Middle East stood dangerously close to a larger conflict. Military confrontations escalated. The Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important oil routes, became a symbol of uncertainty. Oil prices jumped. Global markets shook. Governments are worried about what might happen next. Iran faced enormous pressure. Its economy was struggling. Sanctions continued to hurt trade and investment. The risk of a prolonged war threatened the country's future. At the same time, world powers searched for a way to stop the crisis before it became uncontrollable. Chapter 2. China's unique position. Unlike many countries, China had something very valuable: influence. For years, China has been one of Iran's most important economic partners include China. China buys large amounts of Iranian oil. Chinese companies have invested in infrastructure and trade projects connected to Iran. The relationship isn't based on friendship alone. It's based on mutual interests. Iran needs buyers. China needs energy. And both countries often oppose pressure from Western powers. USCC.give Chapter 3, Beijing's problem. As the tensions increased, China faced a serious dilemma. A major war could disrupt oil supplies, shipping routes could become unsafe, global markets could become unstable. All of that would hurt China's economy. Beijing wanted stability. But because chaos threatened China's own interests, analysts noted that China was seeking an off-ramp that could reduce tensions without forcing Iran into a humiliating surrender. FDD+1, Chapter 4, Quiet Diplomacy. Reduce tensions without forcing Iran into a humiliating surrender. FDD+1, Chapter 4, Quiet Diplomacy. Unlike dramatic summit meetings shown on television, much of diplomacy happens behind closed doors. Messages are delivered quietly. Warnings are expressed carefully. Suggestions are made privately. During the crisis, Chinese officials repeatedly called for dialogue and compromise. Beijing emphasized ceasefires, negotiations, and regional stability. Publicly, China positioned itself as a supporter of peace. Privately, many observers believe Chinese leaders were encouraging Tehran to consider practical solutions. Chapter 5. Why Iran listened. Iran does not take orders from China. That is important to understand. Iran is a sovereign nation with its own leadership and goals. However, Tehran understands reality. China remains one of its most important economic lifelines. Chinese oil purchases help generate essential revenue. Chinese diplomatic support helps reduce international isolation. This opens the door to crucial revenue streams, driving our nation's economic growth. Losing Beijing's support would be extremely costly. As pressure mounted, Iranian leaders had strong. Chinese officials have encouraged diplomacy. Here are 3 reasons to pay attention. First, it stabilizes global markets in economic uncertainty. It mitigates risks of conflict in key regions. Third, it opens doors for mutual strategic benefits. Chapter 6. The road to the agreement. Negotiations were not simple. There were setbacks, but the path to agreement was forged. We are in a moment of crisis. There are deep disagreements over sanctions and disputes over security guarantees. This requires immediate attention. We are in a moment of crisis. There are deep disagreements over sanctions and disputes over security guarantees. This requires immediate attention. You asked about future commitments. Several countries played important roles. They must continue to work together. This is essential for progress. Pakistan helped mediate. Qatar facilitated communication. Other international actors provided support. But throughout the process, China consistently backed efforts aimed at reducing conflict and restoring stability. Chapter 7. What did China gain? This is where the story becomes interesting. If the agreement succeeds, China gains several advantages. First, stable energy supplies. Second, diversified import routes. These deals strengthen China's position. We envision a calmer Middle East, free from conflict. Our nation has earned a reputation as a global power, capable of influencing major international crises. It only needed to help create conditions where the agreement became possible. That can be just as valuable. Chapter 8. The Hidden Financial Battle. Some analysts believe there is another layer to the story, a covert financial battle waged in the shadows. China has been promoting alternatives to traditional Western-dominated financial systems. This is driven by a desire to reduce reliance on the US dollar and Western institutions. Initiatives like CIPS and the BRICS New Development Bank are key parts of this strategy. Projects connected to BRICS and other international initiatives seek to increase financial cooperation. These efforts aim to strengthen global partnerships and promote economic stability. This collaboration is key to future growth.